Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Ankita Gupta and I will be talking about the association of sugar sweetened beverages with and body mass index. Obesity, a little background. Obesity is a serious public health crisis both nationally and globally. It's currently the second leading cause of preventable death in the United States, and it may soon take over tobacco as the leading preventable cause of death. And in New York, there's a large finding of obesity population. Um, One quarter, the 25.5% of adults in New York State are obese, and another 35.3% are overweight, among an estimated 8.5 million residents. The prevalence of obesity is higher among non-Hispanic Black, Hispanic and Hispanics, the 33.8% and 29.8% respectively. The Brief Risk Factor Surveillance System is an annual statewide telephone survey of adults that is that developed by CDC and administered by New York State Health Department. It is So the objective is to understand the association of sugar-sweetened beverage consumption and obesity range using the 2016 Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System for New York. So a brief introduction about what is BRFS. So it basically stands for Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System. It is a nationally representative cross-sectional survey that assesses the health risks, behaviors, chronic conditions, and preventive practices, surveying people who are 18 years and older. The data set is analyzed. This particular data set on sugar sweetened beverage in the state of New York is analyzed using the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System 2016 dataset. The methods that was used, so the New York City resident subsample was used. The data source was from 2016 BFS and only on New York residents, and the total number of participants were 22,572. The outcome of interest was the body mass index BMI, which is calculated using height, which is in kg, weight, which is meters per square, and the exposure of interest is the sugar sweetened beverage, which is and calculated using range of zero people who drank zero drinks in less than 1 drink per week, 1 to 7 drinks 1 to 7 less than 7 or equal to 7 drinks per week, or those who drank more than 7 drinks per week. The core varieties are sex, age, ethnicity that was used in the study. The core varieties that was used were sex, age, ethnicity, race, education, income, physical activity, history of cardiovascular disease, and ever diagnosed with diabetes. The participants were characterized by the risk status. The using simple linear regression table. So for the core varieties, the adjusted linear regression adjustments were used, and below is the software that was utilized. So this is table 1, and as you can see, all the data that has been collected on the overall normal BMI, overweight and obese, and you can see the calculations for sex, age, race, education, income, and history of CVD, and ever diabetes. So the results table, the number of participants, as I mentioned, was 22,572. The results of the consumption of the sugar sweetened beverage were found. 32 of participants had never consumed sugar sweetened beverages. 28 of the participants had reported to consuming 1 to 7 drinks per week. 19% of participants had reported consuming more than 7 drinks per week. So, and then sex, which is a binary variable, and it was found more men were found to be overweight at 59%, and 52% were found to be obese, and 42% had normal weight. That was just among men. They were found, compared to female, they were found to be more overweight. And education, the weight for college graduates with normal weight was found 41%, and 27% were obese. The history of CVD at normal weight at 5% overweight, and it's 5, normal weight at 5%, overweight at 9%, and obese at 11%. Under ever diagnosis of diabetes, normal weight was people who, participants who had normal weight was at 14% were found to be normal weight. Participants who were diagnosed with diabetes, 10% were found to be overweight, and participants who were diagnosed with diabetes, 10% were found to be obese. This is table 2. This is using the crude model, and unadjusted adjusted with the p-value. So the crude model was used more than those who drank, and the association was found among people who, among participants who drank more than 7 drinks per week at BMI of 0.43 at 0.43 units. An adjusted model 0 to 1 drinks per week showed an association with an increase in BMI 0.49 units, and 95 and under 95% confidence interval, 0.16 and 0.63 was um, was the range, and the p-value was 0.003. The participants who had no physical activity in the last 30 days, they had found that an association with an increased BMI at 0.73 units. Females who were not Hispanic and who were college graduates had an association was found with low BMI. In conclusion, we can conclude that an association was found between consumption of sugar-sweetened beverages and high body mass index and body weight. Those who drank more than 7 drinks per week, they had a higher body mass index. A recommendation is to eliminate all sugar sweetened beverage consumption. Alternate should be encouraged, that is water. Future research and under future research and recommendation, more research needs to be done on other additive drinks, and keeping in mind confounding variables such as genetic and environmental changes, etc. A proposed intervention, the target population would be school children and adolescents who are prone to consuming a higher rate of sugar sweetened beverages, children ages 5 to 17. The goal of the intervention is to reduce the overall consumption of SSBs among the target population and encourage the choice of drinking water over sugar-sweetened beverages. The study design that I chose to use is the cohort study design. As this study design is it is I consider the strongest non-randomized study design when compared to other study designs such as case control studies, and it is known to have less recall bias. and ultimately this has a large sample size which eliminates bias, and we would be studying the effects of consumption of water and the existing outcome, which is obesity. So in her study the outcome is already known. The objective is to keep a tab on consumption of SSB weekly, a tab of water intake, how much water is being taken, measure BMI once a month and a half, every month and a half, evaluation every 2 and 2.5 months annually, result be assessed. The public policy uh, monitor sizes includes more healthy lunches, restricts SAB availability, community creating awareness of harms of and SAB consumption, organizational would be health education, promotion in schools with collaboration with local organizations, interpersonal, sociological, social ecological model would be engagement with adults and caregivers, promoting education, individual would be healthy practices, supporting awareness and more education